Hey guys, Char5 here, and today we're going on a bit of a field trip. If you notice, I'm wearing my blue and gray striped shirt instead of my blue and white one. That's because, like I said, we're going on a bit of a field trip, and I tend to put this one on instead of my white one when, we're talking about something a bit more serious than usual, when we're not really talking about something fun or something about just updates. But before we go on our little three-part field trip, I do have some updates for you guys. You know how I said in the last LuNaTiVlog that I was going to be doing Creepy Month, and if you notice, I only uploaded 2 creepypastas. Well, that's because I've had a lot going on recently, and I wasn't going to be able to pull through with all the creepypastas of one per day anyway. So I decided to just cancel that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it next year. I guess only time will tell. A new Everything Wrong With is coming out. I have something planned. I haven't even started editing at all. I'm still writing the script for it. And it's a surprise. I won't let you guys know what it is. Yes, it's another Sonic one. It's another Sonic one, but I won't tell you which one it is just yet. I've been having a lot going on with Channel Federator Network, the network, multi-channel network that I'm part of, in case you didn't know. A lot of stuff has happened this year. And let alone this month. I mean, a lot of stuff has happened this month by itself. And, I guess the other day I was just feeling like I really wanted to make a LuNaTiVlog about certain things that, an opinion I have about certain things. And I guess this sort of series is one that I really want you guys to be watching because, I don't know, I just feel like it's stuff that's really important for me personally. And I feel like you guys could sort of take something from it as well. And remember, if you guys have seen my LuNaTiVlOgS trailer, through the trailer that I have on my channel, you'll know that I work with rants, opinions, updates, and reactions. And today it's sort of an opinion slash rant, and like I said, I already gave you the update. I also have something else in the works for you guys, something Pokemon related for any of you Poke fans out there. It's really fun, and I really want to release it soon. I have more interviews, just a lot of stuff that I really want to get out there, but I haven't been able to because I've just been, sort of busy, except sort of not really. Anyway, I guess, and by the title of the video, obviously, we're going to be talking today about homelessness, and it's funny because I know a lot of people may think that this is something kind of silly to talk about, especially since why do I have to talk about this, or what's my business talking about this, considering, I'm not homeless, and, I don't really know anyone who's homeless, etc., etc., a bunch of stuff that a lot of people may think is weird that I'm going to touch such a subject. But the thing is, the other day I was going to my sister, we were going to a cyber cafe, because our printer doesn't work very well, and she needed to print some things. On our way there, it was at night, I saw this woman with her granddaughter, and they were going through the trash, and I saw the child, who must have been, I don't know, maybe 6 years old, a little older. She was carrying around a blanket. And, well, I mean, I guess it was safe to assume that they were homeless, or that, something like that. As a kid, you don't really think about it, or you really disregard it because you're used to seeing that sort of stuff. I don't know. At least in Mexico, it's very common to see homeless people all the time. Children, not very common, but adults, it's very common to see them. And I guess I mention it because, well, my mother and I, we went to a trip to Providence, Rhode Island earlier this year, and it was astonishing because I didn't expect to see so many homeless people and so many beggars on the streets. And, it just makes you realize that even in what are considered to be developed countries, such as the States, there are still homeless people, and there are beggars. And the reason I bring this up is because, well, growing up, I realized that this is a real issue, and that it's not their fault that they're homeless for the most part. And as a kid, I always assumed, and I never really looked at them twice because I always assumed, or I guess, I don't know why I grew up with that mentality, that it was their fault. They had blown all their money, or, they just didn't have a place to stay, but that was their fault. So, I guess I always just really, I don't know, disregarded homeless people. And I think about it, and if I were to ever move back to the States, actually once I do, not if I ever were to. I always, ever since we went to Providence, I thought to myself, like, this could be me one day, because of the whole, they may be people who don't have like any money to their name, they don't have a roof over their head, and it was something that when I saw it last night, it frustrated me because I just thought that it wasn't fair, and I even told my sister that I just don't think that it's fair that there are some people such as myself, thank God, and excuse me if you're not religious or if you have a different religion than mine. I am quite religious, not too much, but I do have my beliefs, and I thank God that I have a roof over my head, and that I have my family, and that I have food to eat, and I don't know, it's just you get used to a certain lifestyle, and you can't imagine your life without it, and I've been living the same lifestyle pretty much ever since ever since I was born, or ever since I can remember. And to see people who live in these poor conditions, or dare I say no conditions at all, it's depressing, and it's really frustrating to see that there are these people that you see that you can't really help other than give them a bit of your money if you're willing to. And that's another thing that really frustrates me about the situation, is that in the world we live in, you can't trust people anymore, because maybe back then, way back when, you could give a beggar money and it would be fine. They would use it to buy food, and they would use it, or they would store it up to get something better for themselves. Nowadays, you give a beggar money, and one of the first things they go buy is either alcohol or drugs, and it's really depressing that you're doing a good deed by giving these people money, but they're using it for unintended purposes, I guess, like your unintended purposes, of course, because they're using the money that you gave them to harm themselves even more. And likewise, you just see these homeless people, and something that immediately came to my head was like, oh, I wish I could like ask them to come over to my house and like stay the night or something. I don't know. And again, like back in the day, it was something you could do, because it's like they would be very appreciative. They would be very thankful. And nowadays, if you can't even invite someone from your own family into your house because they might stab you when you're asleep. It's like you can't trust people anymore nowadays, and that's really upsetting and really depressing. Another reason I really mentioned this is because when I said that I saw myself sort of reflected in that could be me one day, is that, well, I have cousins who are from Mexico, but they went to live sometime in Canada, and it was really rough for them because they went over there, they didn't have any papers, they were undocumented, and there were times where they had to sleep on the streets, and of course it's illegal, and they feared sometimes they wouldn't be able to make it through the day, or I don't know, and it was very scary for them. Thankfully, they're back here. They went, they saw, they did form eventually a house. They did have a home over there eventually, but the first few months was horrible for them. And it's funny that I'm just hearing about that now, because they've been back in Mexico for about like 4 or 5 years now, and I'd never heard about how rough it was for them. And well, just knowing how rough it was for them to have to go through all that just by going to a different countries, and like they lived really okay here, they had a profession, they had everything here, and then they just left because they wanted a better life. So it's funny that a lot of people have this concept of the American dream, and once they leave, they find out that they become someone totally different. They don't have the intended purposes, they don't have what they intended, I guess is a better thing to say. And I understand it's like the whole, well, they were undocumented. Yeah, but even so, like there are people who have their papers, who have all their documents, and they're still homeless, And it's something else that really sucks, because they don't have money to their name, and they have to be going through the trash, like I said, and it's just really upsetting for me. And I don't know why. Like I said, I've never really been in that situation where I've needed to beg, or I needed to, live on the streets for a while, and I hope I never have to, but I sort of understand where they're coming from. And it's funny how people who are, middle class, and especially the ones that are high class, they're so busy, and, they're here and there, that they highly disregard what they have, and they don't really appreciate or thank, they're not thankful for what they have. And I include myself, like I am thankful for what I have. I'm thankful for having a roof over my head, for having a very loving family, food to eat, but it's funny how a lot of people just disregard it, and they see it as something so normal that they don't even think about it. And yet people who have absolutely nothing are always thanking God. They're always thanking you, even if you don't give them anything. And it's especially apparent in in the States, I think, because here in Mexico, like, you give someone something, the most you get is a God bless you. And if you don't give them anything, they just go on their merry way. And sometimes you won't even get a God bless you. You don't get anything. And in the States, it was something I noticed that's like, you wouldn't even you would disregard and lie and say, oh, well, sorry, man, I don't have anything on me, or I don't know, just make up any excuse to not give them your money. Even though, like, I guess really anything helps. Any amount of money really helps if they're saving it up. And they're just so appreciative. Like, some of them are smiling all the time. And I guess it's one of those what else do they have sort of situations, and I understand that. But again, like, it's very upsetting to see that there are people who have to go through these certain situations. And I guess this is sort of an invitation to you guys to tell you that you shouldn't give up on these people. It's like, yeah, we can't really trust people anymore, but you should at least make a little bit of an effort to help those in need. And I'm not just talking about homeless people, but to help those who may need you can lend a helping hand, economically, or, whatever. If they need money, like, lend them some, but don't be stupid either. Like, don't lend them too much, or, make sure that they pay you back, or, like I said, just help them out however you can. You never know when you might need of them. I don't know, just make sure that they're using your money for the correct intended purposes, or help them out somehow, like, tell them, oh, you can do this, or I don't know, give them some advice over what they can do in the current situation that they're in. It's funny, I thought I would ramble on more about this certain subject, but it was actually kind of short. Anyway, so I gave you a bit of an update. I gave you my sort of rant/opinion over this whole homelessness thing. And next time we see each other, if you were so kind to watch part 2 of our fields trip, we're going to be talking about a very delicate subject that hit me really hard this year, actually. And so I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you watch that. Anyway, if you're not going to, then I thank you for watching at least this video, and until then, this is Char5, signing off.